The law of success is ruthless. Learn it or be left behind. They won't tell you this in school. They won't whisper it in polite company. They won't dare speak it out loud because it burns too hot, slices too deep. But hear me now. Success is not gentle, it is not fair, and it does not wait. It does not knock. It kicks down doors and dares you to rise, because the truth no one wants to admit, is this. The law of success is ruthless. Learn it or be left behind. You are not here to blend in. You are not here to coast through life on half willpower, half dreams, and full excuses. You are here because something inside you is aching to be more, to break free, to become the version of yourself that this world desperately needs but will never hand to you. Not for free, not for comfort, not for intentions, only through blood, through vision, through absolute mental fire. Look around you. People say they want success, but what they really want is convenience. They want the glory of a title, but not the grind. They want the fruit of the tree, but never the roots, never the soil, never the seasons of nothing. But the men and women who change the world, the ones who build, shape, move, and dominate the game, they understand. Success is war, and the battlefield is your own mind. Henry Ford wasn't just building cars, he was battling the entire belief system of the time. He said, "I will make a machine so cheap even the man who builds it can afford to drive it." They laughed. He built. They doubted. He delivered. And when the dust settled, it was his name etched into the future. You want success? Then understand this. Success doesn't speak the language of doubt. It speaks the language of discipline. It doesn't care how you feel. It cares what you do. Because feelings are fleeting. But principles, vision, clarity, these are eternal. If your mind isn't trained, it will betray you. It will settle for comfort over conquest, distraction over direction, excuses over excellence. Your mind is either your greatest weapon or your silent assassin. The law is simple, but it's brutal. Either you command your life or it will command you. Either you lead your thoughts or you become a servant to them. The greats, the 1%, the outliers, they don't wait to be motivated. They wake up on fire. They don't chase approval. They chase clarity. They don't seek comfort. They seek alignment. Because they've learned the universal truth. Clarity is power. Vision is wealth. Discipline is freedom. Walt Disney didn't just imagine cartoons. He saw an empire before it had shape. He stood on a swamp of failure and said, This will be the happiest place on earth." People mocked him. Banks rejected him. Critics tore him down. But he built it anyway, because when your vision is strong enough, nothing else matters. Not the noise, not the setbacks, not the opinions, only the outcome, only the mission. And yet, you hesitate. You wait for the perfect time. You wait for someone to believe in you before you believe in yourself. But success doesn't honor hesitation. It honors boldness. It honors action. It honors the soul that shows up in the dark with no applause and keeps building anyway. You want wealth? Then you need clarity of thought. You need mental discipline. You need vision so sharp it cuts through every excuse, every obstacle, every distraction. You need to train your mind like a soldier trains his body, daily, relentlessly, without question. Because make no mistake, your thoughts are seeds. What you water will grow. If you plant fear, you'll reap hesitation. If you plant doubt, you'll reap decay. But if you plant vision, belief, gratitude, and unwavering drive, you'll reap power. You'll reap wealth beyond money, wealth of purpose, wealth of confidence, wealth of legacy, but only if you train. Benjamin Franklin once said, "By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail." He wasn't talking about meetings. He was talking about mindset. He woke up every day and asked himself, "What good shall I do this day?" He mapped his hours, guarded his energy, refined his thoughts. Because success doesn't come to the man who hopes for greatness. It comes to the man who prepares for it. The man who builds his mind like an empire long before he builds his bank account. And if you think this doesn't apply to you, if you believe you're the exception, then the law has already left you behind. Because this world isn't waiting. Every second, someone else is training. Someone else is waking up earlier, reading more, sacrificing more, fighting harder. And the moment you sleep on your potential, you're handing your future to someone else who won't. So ask yourself, who are you becoming right now? Are you aligning your actions with the man or woman you were born to be? Or are you delaying greatness for a later that never comes? The law doesn't care about your comfort. It doesn't adjust for your excuses. It only recognizes the prepared, the relentless, the ones who take ownership of their mind and make no room for weakness. You were not born weak. You were not born average. You were not born to live and die unnoticed. That was trained into you. By systems, by fear, by those too scared to face the fire inside themselves. But deep down, beneath the noise and the numbness, your mind remembers. It remembers the hunger. It remembers the light. It remembers that you were built for something more. But here's the price. You must burn everything that is not aligned with that destiny. You must destroy the version of yourself that tolerates mediocrity. You must kill the part of you that says tomorrow, because tomorrow is a graveyard. Tomorrow is the excuse the weak feed on to feel better about wasting today. You want to talk about the law of success? Here it is. Brutal focus, relentless belief, unshakable action, daily war, inner fire. Abraham Lincoln failed in business, lost elections, suffered heartbreak, battled depression. But he stayed in the fight because he knew success is not about speed. It's about persistence in purpose. It's about standing taller every time life knocks you down. It's about showing up when your emotions are screaming, quit. That's the mindset of champions. That's the programming of the 1%. They don't rise because life is easier for them. They rise because they train their minds to rise no matter what. When Harlan David Sanders, the man behind KFC, was rejected over 1,000 times, he didn't fold. He didn't take it personally. He understood the law. Every rejection is just data, not a death sentence. Every no is a filter separating you from those who are ready for your value. Your mind right now is the most powerful asset or liability you own. You can build an empire or you can build excuses, but you cannot do both. So which one are you building? Discipline isn't punishment. It's the language of freedom. It's the code that unlocks consistency, and consistency is the DNA of success. The people you admire? They weren't born chosen. They chose themselves, every single day, in silence, without recognition, without applause. That is the real grind. The invisible hours, the mental rewiring, the relentless self-leadership. Because you don't get success by wanting it. You get success by becoming the kind of person who can hold it. Do you understand that? Money doesn't come to the desperate. It comes to the disciplined. Opportunity doesn't visit the wishful. It visits the prepared. And legacy? Legacy is built by those who train for decades in darkness before the world sees their light. Einstein didn't chase fame. He chased understanding. He locked himself in thought until the boundaries of logic bent to his will. He didn't wake up famous. He woke up obsessed. That's the edge. That's the standard. And you've got to raise yours, or be left behind. The world will not slow down. Technology will not wait. Opportunities will not pause and beg you to grow. You either elevate your mind, or you evaporate in mediocrity. Do you think Elon Musk got to where he is by doing what was expected? He trained his mind to expect more, to demand more, to risk, to adapt, to persist. Success obeys those who command their minds with clarity and courage. That's the law. It is not random. It is not luck. It is cause and effect, and the cause begins with thought. You think average, you live average. You think powerfully, you attract power. You think with vision, you build destiny. But don't get it twisted. This isn't just about motivation. This is about transformation. Because until your mindset changes, your life can't. You can change your clothes, your job, your friends, your location. But if your mind is still the same, you'll recreate the same patterns with a new view. Because the prison is internal. Break it. Build new mental muscle. Construct new internal architecture. Train your thoughts to serve your future, not sabotage it. If that means waking up earlier, do it. If that means reading for hours instead of scrolling endlessly, do it. If that means cutting off people who drain your energy, do it. If that means rewriting your goals every single morning, do it. This is not punishment. This is alignment. And those who align their thoughts with their highest vision become unstoppable. Nikola Tesla once said, "If you want to understand the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." Do you know what your thoughts are? Energy. Do you know what belief is? Vibration. Do you know what vision is? Frequency. Train them, control them, direct them. Because once your mind is tuned, Once you remove interference, once you silence the noise, once you burn the lies, you become dangerous. You become rare. You become the kind of person who bends reality. But only if you obey the law. The law of success is not negotiable. It's not emotional. It's not sympathetic to your past. It is simple, and it is ruthless. Learn it, or be forgotten. Live it, or be left behind. The law of success is ruthless. There will come a moment when your back is against the wall, when the applause is gone, when the path ahead is foggy, when doubt whispers like a storm in your chest. And in that moment, you will have to decide what kind of person you are, because the law does not bend for your fear. It does not pause for your wounds. It does not care how tired you are or how long you've waited. It responds only to courage. Look back through history. The men and women who changed the world weren't handed their legacy. They earned it through fire, through isolation, through obsession, through sacrifice. Winston Churchill didn't lead through charm. He led through unbreakable conviction. He stared into the abyss of war and declared, "We will never surrender." Not because he had the luxury of hope, but because he had the discipline of belief. And what about you? What will you declare when life demands more of you? Will you shrink? Will you wait for permission? Will you keep playing the same game expecting a different ending? Or will you rise? Will you do what 99% won't? Will you train when others sleep? Will you read when others scroll? Will you visualize when others complain? Because here's the truth, the weak will never accept. You don't need motivation. You need a decision, a line in the sand. A moment of violent clarity when you look in the mirror and say, "Enough, no more average, no more excuses, I will no longer betray my potential." You decide once, and then you execute daily. That's what they never told you. That you already have everything it takes. That there is no guru coming to save you. That the law of success responds to internal kings and queens who have mastered their minds, not those who dabble, not those who dream without doing, not those who chase comfort and cry when it bites back, but those who build, who bleed, who burn their plan B, who look at the mountain and climb anyway. That is you. Or it can be, but only if you stop arguing for your limitations, only if you stop identifying with your excuses, only if you start acting like your future is non-negotiable. Listen closely. Success is not something you chase. It's something you attract by becoming a person of value, a person of principle, a person of fire. You don't beg for the throne, you become it. So from this moment forward, you commit to mastery, you commit to clarity, you commit to waking up early, to reading daily, to visualizing vividly, to choosing thoughts that serve your purpose, to building habits that serve your destiny. Because you are not here to be ordinary. You are not here to merely survive. You are here to lead, to dominate, to write a name so loud the world has no choice but to remember. And the only thing standing in your way is the untrained mind. So train it, or remain broke. Train it, or stay lost. Train it, or get left behind. But make no mistake, the clock is ticking, and success does not wait.